to tonight. Folks, my name is Ashley Colie. I'm a partner at North American Senior Benefits. And tonight, as we discover North American Senior Benefits, the folks that are on have been qualified. Y'all have been selected. And whether you are in the process of going through that second or third interview via Zoom, or if potentially you've already been hired, this Zoom is pretty much specific just for you. And the reason why is because I think it's pretty cool just to be able to, once you get hired on, hey, what is North American Senior Benefits and how impactful really is it, especially in the United States? Who are we partnered with? And I think this is just more of a, I guess you could say, a discovery Zoom of who we are. And I like saying this is us. And I think it's pretty neat because of the simple nature that today I was at my daughter's school. My daughter, her name is Chloe, and she's 10 years old. My son is 14. He also goes to the academy as well. But um, I just remember a time, probably about maybe 13 years ago, when I remember Christian was about 1 years old, and just that dream and that thought of, man, if I could have the choice where I could take my kids to whatever school that was the best of the best. And it's pretty crazy that today, even years ago, I guess for the past 5 years now, my husband and I have been full-time parents. And also the ability to dream again, the ability to have choices that if you go to a restaurant, you don't have to look at the prices, that if you want to go take a 2, 3, 4 week vacation, you can. And it wasn't like that 14 years ago. Matter of fact, if you look at probably May of 2014, after I delivered Chloe, I was a stay-at-home mom for about 10 months, and we were poor. I don't know if anybody can relate to what poor looks like, but we weren't even broke because 95% of the population right now is broke. They are not catching up to the cost of living. Their promotions are not even catching up to the cost of living, the cost of goods, milk, cheese, all the good stuff, right? Don't even get me started on interest rates when it comes to cars and homes. That's like a whole other measure right there. But about 10 years ago, I remember being so poor. Not only did I have to sell my kids' clothes for grocery money, our grocery budget was about $30 a week. I remember the birthday money that was coming in for them from their grandparents, and I would take that $20 bill as if that was $5,000 to me back then. And I think the final straw for me was Dustin had to sell his guitar that he got from his grandfather that had passed away. That was devastating for $300. $300. Do you have any idea what I would give to get that darn guitar back? And then I had to sell my darn engagement ring for rent money, and that was in February of 2015. And to walk into a Perry's Emporium here in Wilmington, North Carolina, and literally give him my ring and say, how much can I get for this? And the guy on the other side, I'll give you $1,200. And I'm sitting here like, okay, is that all you can do? Right? Because our rent was $1,250. So could you maybe squeeze out like an extra $50? Because that would really go a long way for us. And that was just a short 10 years ago. So when I sit here and say that I did not grow up wealthy, I guess you could say middle class, right? But when you want something bad enough and you're an opportunistic kind of a person and you possess the qualities that would attract the right opportunity to come along, then it's only a matter of God's timing where it is going to connect with you. And sometimes if it doesn't, it's probably because you're not the person yet that's able to sustain the blessing that God really wants to give you. Because that was me throughout my entire 20s. If you are in your 20s and we are qualifying, selecting you, maybe we've already hired you, you go ahead with your bad self because I was so not awesome when it came to characteristics. That's probably why I felt like I got this opportunity when I was 29 years young and not 21 or 22. So I say all that to say this is that, hey, look, I'm college educated, went to East Carolina University, had a communications degree, did absolutely nothing with it. Nothing with that. Was a bartender, was a server. And then the crazy thing is that I could care less about fitness, but I cared about the result that fitness got me back then because I didn't have any other opportunities. So I started working for Gold's Gym, making about what, $1,500 a month. Then I worked up the corporate ladder because that's what you're supposed to do in corporate America. Became a general manager, married my good looking rascal of a husband, Dustin, had a baby, and here we are. Not here we are, but living in on the second floor of an apartment building, 800 square feet, living paycheck to paycheck. And that was me in my 20s. And you fast forward to today. I go to my daughter's school lunch today because it was the last day of her school. Then she has Christmas break. And typically, normally, me and my husband, we always go together. We've been doing this for years. Typically, we're like the only parents that go. There's a lot of moms, but never they're really moms and dads. And I noticed this little girl, one of Chloe's friends, and she was sitting by herself. And I go up to her and she's crying and she's bawling. And I'm just rubbing her back. And I'm like, hey, buddy, what's going on? Why are you crying? And she said, my daddy, he's not here. My mommy's not here. She never comes. She was like, there's so many other parents here, but my daddy said he would be here and he's not here. And so I'm just rubbing her back and I said, well, tell me more about your dad. And she said, he works two jobs and he does everything he can for his family. And I said, you know what? I'm sure he would do anything to be here right now, but he's providing for you guys. You can come sit with us. Hey, look, you will take care of you. Come on, come hang out with us. And she keeps crying. She said, I just need a minute. Okay. And y'all, it took everything in me not to cry because I could only imagine, what if this was my daughter? What if this was my son that was sitting alone crying because all he wanted to do, or all my daughter wanted to do, was just have my parent there at school lunch on Christmas, a Christmas lunch for that matter. And here I am because of the choices that I made, because of the sacrifices that I made 10 years ago. The hero that I look up to was the person that jumped, the person that went all in, the person that, man, I'm going to go on all faith here. I'm going to trust this system. I'm going to trust Jordan Smith and Greg Baden and Chad Milner. And I'm just going to hope that what they say is true. Because what else do I have? Right? What else did I have that was an opportunity that was coming on my plate here? And all I could think about was that could have been me. Not me, but that could have been my daughter. And I'm so grateful that the hero that I look up to is that girl that didn't have the characteristics, that had the bad habits, but all I had was a vision and a dream and a big desire to do whatever it took ethically, honestly, to get the job done so that I could be that mom, that superhero that my kids could look up to. That my kids never have to worry about whether or not when it's a field trip, they know. They know their parents are there. And again, my question to all of you guys, why do you do what you do every single day? I know again that when you're looking at this vehicle, this arena, and I'll tell you all a little bit about it because it'll blow your mind. But why do you do what you do every single day in and day out? Why do you do that? You invest the best days of the week, the best times of the week into a job that pays you for a task. It does not pay you for what you are worth. That is why 95% of the population currently right now that are getting a W-2 paycheck, which is bi-weekly or once a month, you get this check and you're probably sitting to yourself saying, now I worked way harder than this person over here on my right. And I poured so much more value. And I came in early and I came in late or I stayed late and I did everything and even more. And this is what I'm getting. And then you look at it and you're like, is this what it's going to be for the next year? Is this what it's going to be for the next 5 years, 10 years? If nothing changes, nothing changes. And I've also realized that even when you're thinking about something, you're making a decision to think about it. Now, what does that mean? That means that you've got to get really great at making great decisions if you are wanting to be very successful and very significant in this lifetime, because you only live once. So, yeah, you're either living in the consequences of the decisions that you made 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or you're living in the favor and the blessings because of the decisions that you made 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or last year. And I will sit here and say this is your story. This is your story. And you get the opportunity to write in that story, write a new chapter in that story every single day. I interviewed a gentleman today, blew me away. He was 20 years young. And he said, listen, I just want to be able to be that provider for my family. 20 years young. He's not married, no kids, none of that stuff. But he's already got the vision ahead that he needs to prepare for the wake up call before he wakes up, if that makes any sense. That preparation. I do what I do for the results that it brings, period. Why do you do what you do every single day? I do what I do for the results that it brings. Typically, your lifestyle is going to be congruent to the income that you make. Let me repeat that. Your lifestyle currently, right now, is congruent to the income that you make. Do you like that? Hey, let's go to Scotland. You know, it's funny because we were going to go to Switzerland over Christmas. I researched what's the best place to go in the entire world, and it was Switzerland over Christmas time. Just didn't work out, right? Mainly because of the time, because my kids break. But it's kind of cool to be able to dream like that, isn't it? And my daughter was telling her friends at school, hey, we're going to go to Switzerland, but we're not. But the cool thing is we can. We were going to be there for 3 weeks, and I don't want her to miss out on that school time when she comes back. But we're going to go to Scotland, taking my kids to Scotland with my parents and my mother-in-law. You see, for you to be on this Zoom, you showed something to your direct manager or the person that's interviewing you that you potentially had what it took to be successful here on this championship winning team. We are very selective here on this team. Why? Because we only have 24 hours in a day. And I don't have time to waste my time, nor does the direct manager that you're working with, to waste their time on people that are just going to play around with this thing. I ain't got time for that. In our world, we tolerate it. What I'm looking for is the person that has the it factor. I'm not looking for average. We can't work with below average. We just can't. I think I've realized that the number one ingredient that I look for in somebody, and I was again telling this gentleman earlier today, whenever we interview somebody, we're reading between the lines. We're not just taking your answer. We're watching your body language. We're watching the way that you look at us on a Zoom or maybe potentially in a, one-on-one interview in person. We're looking at your demeanor. Are you nervous? Are you confident in your answers? The it factor is what I'm looking for is, are you a fighter? Are you actually going to do what you say you're going to do? Are you going to fight for that? And if you are, then I'll give you the platform to be able to prove it. What's up? This is my daughter, Chloe. Well, thank you, Chloe. I super appreciate that. She's my little artist. She draws a lot. Pretty cool. Love it. Thank you, Chloe. Super duper appreciate that. You're the bomb.com. Thank you very much. Coachable. We're looking for somebody that is willing to be coached, somebody that has the leadership qualities, integrity, honesty. But here's the other flip side, folks. Those are the qualities that we're looking for. I don't genuinely care too much about your background, except you got to be successful at accomplishing something in your life. Whether it was at the age of 16, maybe you played sports, but you did and you've had success in something, maybe a trophy, maybe you were the top car salesman, maybe you achieved something at a spelling bee, whatever it might be. The concept of I'm looking for the person that enjoys winning, period. Give me that person. That's the person that when I'm in the trenches, guess what? That's the person I can rely on. Give me the person that's predictable. Give me that person. You could ask Greg Baden, my direct manager, and the best thing he ever told me to do when I was hired on and ran was he just said, go run, Ash. He taught me the systems. He taught me everything I needed to know. And he said, bam, just go run. And I put my head down and I went to work. So let's kind of go and I guess you could say like layers of an onion. We're going to take off some of these layers of Ash, what kind of arena are we working with? What are the core values of the Dream Makers team, the Powerhouse team? And what really is this financial services arena? So I'm going to start there, which is financial services. If you Google right now, because I was actually doing it earlier, I was like, okay, I wonder, just making sure that my stats are still correct here. What's the number one business that's creating the most multimillionaires in the United States currently right now? And it is the what? Financial services sector. If you break down the financial services sector, you're looking at banking and insurance. Currently, right now, we're in a very unique time in history where over the next 10 to 14 years, there is going to be what's called the great wealth transfer that's going on with the baby boomers. And what that means is that they're transferring all this wealth and they're trying to find thousands of tools as to how to grow their wealth to the next generation. And they want 100% a pillar of safety. They want something that's going to be stable for them. They also want to make sure that if they're going to be transferring these trillions of dollars down to the next generation, they want to make sure that it's in the good hands. So, where does life insurance come into play with that? Oh man, a lot. Why do you think so many, doesn't really matter, lower class, middle class, upper class, everybody believes in life insurance. I want to say it was bankrates.com or limmer.com that said that 84% of people believe in life insurance. But here's the crazy thing. Is everybody going to die? I know it's a little morbid, but yes, it is. Everybody's going to pass away at some point on Earth right now. Not like right now. I want to say the last time I looked at it, it was like 9,783 people die every single day in I can't remember if it was the United States. It's probably the United States because it's probably got to be way bigger for the world there. But what's my point in saying that is that the demand for life insurance is extremely high and will be this way for the next 10 to 15 years. Well, actually, what happens after that? I don't know because I don't know, what happens after 15 years, but I do know this is that we're at a very unique position in history because we have a very underserved market currently right now because the demand is so high. It's extremely high. And we're just looking for the right people that we can partner with that are going to be able to excel at those standards of excellence and deliver those needs for the people that we are actually working with, our clientele. Another thing, too, is that if you look at it, when it comes to financial services, it's going to be the number one industry that's creating the most wealth until about 2030. Legit. So you look at the longevity, whether you're 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, look at the amount of wealth that you can be able to create. When you're also looking at financial services, it is the primary sector that's the backbone to the entire economy. For example, if you look at 2020, history always repeats itself. One of the reasons why I'm not, again, real estate's great. Actually, not right now. But one of the reasons why I won't get my real estate license, and the reason being is because look at what happened in 2008. Look at that crash. And then you look at 2020, you fast forward COVID. Well, 49 million Americans lost their jobs. 73% of small business owners had to close their doors because the government said, hey, you're not essential to society. So therefore, you're going to have to either get furloughed, your staff, or you're just going to have to quit. And what did the financial services sector do? Very similar to healthcare. They said, please keep working. Please keep working. I remember being on that task force with NASB in April of 2020 when the whole world shut down. Then it came to the United States and we're like, what do we do? And a task force came together and they said, who knows how to do a Zoom? And nobody answered. And I said, well, I guess I'll learn how to do a Zoom. I don't know what platform to do, but we'll do it. Because if that's what it's going to take to learn, to teach, to develop so that our agents and our leaders don't have to go without and that they can feel stable and secure, even in the face of a massive adversity, let's do it. And that's exactly what we did. We actually grew 43% that year. And I want to say, even in the 12 years that NASB has been around and opened their doors back in July of 2012, we've remained an A plus BB rated company. Those 2 years right there where COVID hit the world and the United States, NASB grew by 40 to 43% in those 2 years. Whoa. What does that mean? That means that the arena of life insurance is not affected by interest rates whatsoever. If anything, when the cost of living continues to go up, or like we've had these inflated prices for the past 3 to 4 years, guess what? We're not affected by it. If anything, we make more money because these life insurance providers are what? They're raising their premiums, which means raised premiums mean higher commissions. When was the last time you got a promotion at your job? When was it? I can't tell you how many times at Gold's Gym as a general manager, I would get looked over and looked over, looked over, qualified, looked over. But that means that if I got a promotion, the person above me would be very upset because they would have to get promoted or they would have to die in order for me to get their position. And quite frankly, if you really think about it, do you really want their position? Stressed out to the max, never sees their family on their third marriage, kids can't stand them. I didn't want that. Also, it's not affected by inflation. The arena of financial services in certain sectors, especially life insurance, is not affected by inflation. If anything, it's a huge benefit, like I just told you guys. It's also not affected by the job market. Whether jobs are down like they were in 2020, we were up. We were up. Matter of fact, if you look at the world of life insurance, kind of diving a little bit more into this layer of life insurance, and I'm not talking about health insurance. I'm not talking about property and casualty. I am specifically mastering this trade of life insurance. Do you need to get other licenses working with North American Senior Benefits? No. Do we want you to? No, we don't. We know how to master one trade, like what Warren Buffett says, master one trade. Don't be a jack of all trades, master the one and be the most incredible expert at that. If you ask me anything outside of life insurance, I'd be like, I really don't know. I genuinely don't know because this is the world that I get paid an insane amount of money to be able to just become an expert at it. Matter of fact, life insurance is a $995 billion market currently right now. Yes, we're essential society, but let's kind of break it in when it comes to we already understand the need of life insurance. So it's been around since the 17th century. It's just been like going up every single year. Okay. Very, very, very steady. Even in the face of massive adversity, like I just told you with 2008, the Great Depression, and then also the Great Recession that we experienced in 2020. Talk about stability. Now, let's kind of break this down a wee bit when it comes to North American senior benefits. What about you're so funny. I love it, Ebony. I need a piece of that billion. Yes, I couldn't agree more with you. Just hold tight because I'm about to show you some pretty cool stuff here. I'm all about stats. I probably sound like a really big nerd, but I'm okay with that. Let's kind of dive into that extra layer of North American senior benefits. What is our demographic? Well, I just told you guys that if you're looking at the baby boomers, that demographic alone is where all the money currently right now is being held until they pass away. Then it'll get transferred over to the next generation. But when you're looking at North American senior benefits, senior, we work with seniors. And what do we do here? We work in simplified final expense. How cool is it that when you're looking at life insurance, that I could sit with a senior and I get paid to listen to them. I get paid to listen to their war stories, to listen to their just, gosh, their wonderful stories about their grandkids or what they did before they retired. And it is just the most wonderful moment of being able to emotionally connect with somebody. If you're coming to this thinking, oh, it's got to be this intense sales game and, increase the premiums. No, what we do is we make a friend, we find a need, and we fill the need. If there is no need for that person when it comes to life insurance, which is it's very unreal that we really almost see that. We don't see that typically because everybody needs that. But we work in the specific sector of simplified final expense, which means that I could sit with a senior today and I already know that based on numbers, that 1 out of 3 is going to close. 1 out of 3 presentations per day is going to close. You're typically doing about 3 to 5 presentations per day in a zip code. Could be in your backyard, could be an hour away, 2 hours away. Really, the sky's the limit. We don't have territories. Why? Why would you? Your whole entire United States is your playground. We got 48 states. We mailed out 35 million postcards last year. We call those leads, where seniors request for us to come and see them. We're working with a demographic of 45 to 85 age bracket. That's who we're working with because they're the ones that are thinking about making sure that their arrangements with their burial and their, cremation that is taken care of. Whether it's a $7,000 policy, a $15,000 policy, it really doesn't matter. Because right now you can see it when it comes to Reels, when it comes to TikTok and Instagram, people are on this scroll mode. Scroll, 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 scroll. Their attention span is about 15 to 30 seconds. I kid you not. It's the weirdest thing ever, right? But you guys can agree with me on that. To hold your attention for 2 minutes, that's tough stuff right there. It's the same thing when it comes to life insurance. People want to get approved right now. They want to know, did I get approved? Did I get approved? Did I get approved for preferred or standard? And bam, they do. And to be able to not collect any premium, we'll go ahead and coincide it with your bank when it comes to the third of the month or the, third Wednesday of the month, Miss Johnson. But guess who's getting paid direct deposit in your bank account the next day or 2 days later? You, directly from the life insurance provider. And because of the relationship that we have in North American Senior Benefits and these life insurance providers, it's your book of business from day one. You also get to be able to tap into renewals, which we'll talk about in a moment. But also, we're working with the lower to middle class of seniors. Why? Because of the masses. You guys want a piece of the pie? What if that piece of pie was 5%? We're not dealing with the 5%. We're dealing with 98% of the seniors that are making less than $60,000 a year or below. That's who we work with. Matter of fact, there's 56 million seniors in the United States right now that are over the age of 65. Seniors are living longer, which is great for us. So you're telling me, Ashley, that we can tap into something called renewals? Yeah, absolutely. Here's the crazy thing. You ready for this? If you look at when it comes to owning a business, the industry growth for owning your own business is about a 1% growth per year. That's what it's been over the past couple of years right now. We've aligned ourselves with a company called Integrity Marketing Group. If you do not know who they are, all you got to do is just type them in. You will get blown away that it's a multi-billion-dollar privately held stock company that was courting us for years and years. And then the founder of the company, Chad Milner, and also the co-founder, Craig Harvey, they said, listen, they keep knocking on our door. We need to listen to them. We need to have a meeting with them. All the partners, we flew down to Houston. I'm sorry, not Houston. It was Dallas, Texas. And we listened to Brian Adams, the CEO of that company. And just like his vision, we wanted to align with it. So in 2019, we were acquired by Integrity Marketing Group. And I'm so grateful that we did. And the reason being is because North American Senior Benefits is the only IMO and when I say IMO, it's called an independent marketing organization. Some people call IMO as insurance marketing organization. But either way, to be named an IMO, you got to have millions of dollars backed up beside you, right? Before you even started a true IMO that's approved by the Better Business Bureau. So that being said, we're the only IMO that treats you like an actual equal, where you can get into the partner stock of North American Senior Benefits with Integrity Marketing Group. Just to kind of give you a glimpse of the stock with Integrity Marketing Group, what I made in stock last year doesn't even equate to what I made last year in deposits. And all you got to do is just ask your direct manager, well, what does Ashley make? Just ask them. NASB paid over $100 million last year in commissions. $100 million. You guys, all we have is about 3,000 agents. We're a smaller company. Why do you think that when you're researching, why do you think it is that North American Senior Benefits on Glassdoor and Indeed, we have the highest ranking average income than any other IMO or any other life insurance brokerage out there? We're just really good at what we do. Period. And I really think that's a pretty amazing thing. So why NASB? Let me tell you why. There's 4 reasons why. Number 1, you're vested day one. Now, what does vested day one mean? Vested day one means that 80% of other life insurance brokerages or captive companies, they're keeping your renewals that should be in your bank, not theirs. So that's about 80%. So if you ever hear somebody say, oh, well, you'll be vested on year 2 or year 3 or year 5, but really what they're saying is they're banking all of those renewals. So a renewal typically after the first year of commissions for a life insurance agent is anywhere from 1 to 5% of the premium of what that senior is physically paying. So on average, you could do the math here. Let's see here. The average income currently right now on the Dreammakers team, Powerhouse team, is about $8,700 take home per month. That's average. Are there people making $25,000, $50,000 a month with us? Absolutely. 100%. Absolutely. Matter of fact, we did a study, 36% of the 133 active writing agents on the Dreammakers team are making over 6 figures of income. Not 1%, not 2%. We're really good at what we do. So vested day one means that you have your book of business. It's not ours, it's yours. And then also you get those renewals, which again is anywhere from 1 to 5% and can last anywhere from 10 years, 15 years. Number two, why NASB? The in-house lead system. I just told you earlier that we mailed out 35 million postcards last year to generate the interest of folks that said, hey, listen, I really do need some life insurance and I don't want to get it through the TV or through an ad or through some weird, I should fill something out as far as like giving them my social security number. That's just weird. I don't want a phone call because I don't know the other person on the other line. I want a real person to just teach me what I should be doing with what? My life insurance. If 84% of people believe in life insurance, we also had a study that we saw on limmer.com. 54% of people don't even know what their life insurance entails. They have no idea. How crazy is that? Could you imagine paying for something every single month for the rest of your life, only to find out that it's actually the wrong type of insurance, that you've been in the wrong policy this entire time that's going to be terminating on you? How upset would you be? That's what we see every day. That's what we see every day. So when we're generating exclusive North American senior benefits leads that are compliant with every single state out of the 48 states that we work with, including Alaska, which is pretty cool, by the way, we got them. Folks, that's the raw material because you need that. That means I don't have to go put stuff on social media. I don't have to hound my friends or my family. Please buy life insurance for me. You never have to do that. Matter of fact, they'll probably be begging you to take care of their life insurance. I love that. Number three, it's real advancement for opportunity, and it's all based on your performance. Thank the Lord, finally a company that you don't have to get overlooked for promotion because maybe you weren't the most popular one, or maybe because you didn't know this person's father or this person's mother, or because of your gender, or because of your shade of your skin. Hey, guess what? If you think you're a rock star, go prove it with your numbers. Go prove it based on your performance. That's real opportunity. You think you're the best? Go prove it and we'll give you the vehicle for it. Everybody gets to see your numbers. You get to see the net numbers. Number four is a legitimate brokerage. What that means is, look, we're not a restaurant that has one thing on the menu. What we do is we fill the need for the senior. We do what's best for them to help them make a great buying decision. And from there, the great thing is that we get to select the best one based on their age and their health, because that's how people buy life insurance, is based on their age and their health. If somebody has chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, maybe they have diabetic neuropathy. That was probably the hardest thing for me in the beginning, was what in the world are these conditions? I wasn't a nurse. I didn't know what a prescription was, but I learned. I learned over time. I didn't have to study all of the products of all the 126 carriers that we had. We're like a buffet. I love the aspect of knowing that, hey, you know what? If we're a legitimate brokerage, we are able to provide choices, not only for our agents, but we provide choices for our clientele. Can we work with a 2-week-old baby to an 89-year-old lady? Yes, absolutely, 110%. 110%. So those are the four things that make North American Senior Benefits different. And I'll be closing on this. What about the Dream Makers team and then also the Powerhouse team? So, what are our 5 core values? Because let's face it, you could have all those qualities that I said in the very beginning, but if you don't align or want to contribute to the culture of an organization, because what makes a company great is not the product. It's not aligning with the number one carrier in the United States when it comes to life insurance. No. What makes a company great will always be its people. And if the people are not operating out of high standards of excellence, well then, do you really have a great company that's going to last 5, 10 years? So what are our 5 core values? Number one is the resiliency in the face of adversity. And I'll read this to you. Resilience reflects a commitment to continuous growth, learning from difficulties, and maintaining a positive and determined attitude, even in tough times. Even in tough times. My son did not want to go to jujitsu tonight. He goes 3 nights a week. I feel like almost every week. Mom, I don't want to go. I'm too tired. Mom, I really don't want to go. And me and his dad, Dawson, We said, listen, even when it's hard, that's when character is formed the most, when you do the things that you don't want to do, but you know you're doing it because it's the right thing to do. So it grows your character. It grows your resiliency. And how many times as parents are we not teaching those principles to our kids? And the coolest thing is they're listening to us. And boom, I couldn't believe it, right? I was delivering presents to our Ripple families for our foundation. So I missed the jujitsu tonight. But my husband comes in and we got Chinese food for all the kids and stuff. And Christian's like, Mommy, I got a stripe on my belt. And I was like, Oh, that's so awesome. I can't believe I missed it. I said, Wait a minute. How did you get a stripe on your belt? Like, we didn't know about this. And he said, Mommy, because they said because of my determination, because of my grit, and because of my improvement. What? The same kid that was kicked off or was cut from the soccer team in eighth grade this year because he didn't show aggression. He wasn't aggressive enough. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when you tell me that my son can't do something, boy, I'm about to show you. Make sense? I know. Babs, you can relate. Anybody that has a kid here. And my heart sank that day. And it's not my fight, though. That's the difference. I am fighting my fight, right? Are you going to fight yours? If you really think about it, I couldn't fight my son's fight. He had to make that decision. What about the second core value, which is honor? I love this one. Chris Houghton really nailed this one. He's one of our sales managers. And honor in all that we do. This value emphasizes respect, integrity, trustworthiness, humility, empathy, and dignity in every action taking. Acting in a way that is honorable to all, without expectation. That means the senior that comes to the door that might have dementia, that maybe you go up to a house that is a trailer. Are you judging it? Are you going to actually give them the same value that you did the house before? Or are you going to judge them? And it's doing the things because it's honor. And you do it because it's the right thing to do without ever expecting anything in return. You talk about the mark of a true hero. That's a hero, in my opinion. Third one, competitive. I am looking for that person that has competition in their blood, that you like a good competition. Maybe look, man, I get it. I had competition with myself, but you have got to know when you run a business, and we're looking at business partners here, you've got to understand the competition out there. Just like Converse to Nike, Converse was number one in the 1980s. And then Nike said, listen, you have not even seen us yet. Then they got Michael Jordan. And it wasn't just buying and sponsoring Michael Jordan. It was the commitment of staying committed to Michael Jordan and innovating the most incredible systems. But the cool thing is, it was every day, consistently. But they always knew the competition, Adidas, Converse, was always going to be after them. Just like Apple to IBM, that constant thing, Tesla to GMC. So it's consistently striving for top performance in leadership. This value reflects a dedication to setting and achieving high standards, pushing for continuous improvement, and maintaining a winning mindset in all aspects. Number 4, innovation. Innovation. The systems that the Dreammakers team and the Powerhouse team with Laura Cisco, another partner at North American Senior Benefits, phenomenal, by the way, innovation that drives progress. You got to be able to be resourceful when there's a lack of resources. Everything that you need, God has planted right in front of you. Well, I want to buy a house. Okay, great. Well, God made trees for you to go build a house, right? I know that's a little, cliche there, but it's true. God's not going to give you a house. You keep praying for the thing. God, I want money. God, I want this house. I want this or I want that. He ain't going to give you those materialistic things, but he's going to give you the environment where grit, honesty, opportunity can exist. But are you the one that's going to be able to sustain it if it's given to you? That's why a 5-year-old doesn't get his driver's license at 5. He can't sustain that. Innovation that drives progress. And then, of course, the last one of my favorite ones, is a value-based identity. Our fifth and last core value is that value-based identity. It embodies authenticity. It demonstrates that the height of our impact is directly tied to the depth of our value. I'll repeat that. It demonstrates the height of our impact is directly tied to the depth of our value. You think you've got a lot of value that you can bring and contribute to this world? Prove it. And that's going to be the height of your impact, is the value of your time per hour. How much is your time worth? Is it $25? Is it $120? Is it $631 per hour like mine is? Which one is it? It takes courage to recognize when actions stray away from core values and boldness to course correct. That's the person I'm looking for. If these five core values don't demonstrate or align with yours, or demonstrate that you want to align with a company like ours, great, get off, because I don't want to work with you. Neither does your direct manager. We want to work with that person that's resilient, has honor, competitive, innovative, and has a value-based identity. That's who we want to align ourselves with. Why? Because this is a family to us. So what are the next steps? You want to text your direct manager, the person that's interviewing you, or potentially the person that said, you know what? Yeah, maybe we got to go do our second interview, our third interview, maybe do a shadow ride along. You want to see what a normal day is like? Get in our car. See what a normal day is like. Straight up from 9 a.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Hey, we'll take you out to lunch. Get in the car with us. We'll show you what a normal day is like. We'll show you the grumpy seniors. We'll show you the ones that make you bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits. We'll show you all of it. Okay? We'll show you the hard, but then we'll show you also the seniors that, man, they've got tears in their eyes and they hug your neck and say, I never knew that I'd be able to find a life insurance brokerage like you guys. You guys gave me an opportunity, you gave me an option, and now my family's secure. Do you have any idea the peace of mind that our clients get simply knowing that they're covered and that their family won't have that financial burden left behind on them? Man, we have pre-licensing. So if you've not passed your state exam, hey, look, it's not going to take a month. Matter of fact, if it takes a month, you're probably not the person we want to look for. 14 business days is what it takes to actually pass the pre-licensing. You can do that. 110%. Is it going to be hard? Of course it's going to be hard. Why? It's meant to be hard. Because if it was easy, it wouldn't mean anything to you. Okay? We got to stretch your comfort level just a little bit so we can stretch your capacity. If you want to make this kind of money right here and you've never made that kind of money yet, then that means that you've got to stretch that capacity and what you're able to tolerate. I'm exhausted every single day. I'm excited every single day. But am I exhausted? Yes. Because I knew that I gave my best version of myself in every darn minute, every darn hour of this day. Because let's face it, just like one of my family members just got a call on Monday night, thought they were healthy as a goose, got cancer all over their body. Someone that has been very impactful and very influential in me and Dustin's story. We probably wouldn't be here and where we are as far as significance and success if it wasn't for this person. And now to think that we might not have them in our life for the next 3 months or 6 months, we don't know how much time we have. But what I do know is I'm not going to wait to live my life. I'm not going to wait to fight for the things that matter to me so that I can be that parent, so that I can be that wife, so that I can be that person that travels the world, so that I can be that person that coaches, develops, and what equips the agents on our team to become the best version of them, whatever that looks like for you. That's my goal for you. It's not my expectation of you. It's whatever your expectation is of you, and then stretch it. Stretch it a little bit more. Stretch it a little bit more. Folks, it's been an absolute honor. I know that there's a lot of folks on. I think we've got a little bit about 38, 40 people on right now. I'm looking forward to working with you. And if this didn't resonate with you, hey, look, totally fine. Yeah, I don't want it to resonate with the wrong person, only with the right person. Other than that, folks, go ahead and text your direct manager. Would love to hear your feedback about what you like best about tonight, what resonated with you. And I look forward to working with you if you are the right person that we want to work with. Other than that, you guys have a great night. Y'all take care.